Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 192 of the Go Get That podcast. And it is Truist Week, a year removed from our trip to the Truist. Wasn't a great trip to the Truist for Jordan Spieth, but we had a good time. So it's a year later at Quail Hollow this year, a golf course that is sure to play right into Spieth's hands, I'm sure. We should see a very evident, this should be a very evident week as to where the game's at, especially after a week at the Cadillac that was bittersweet. Some good, but a lot of really alarming things as well that maybe I'll get into if it is on topic of what we're discussing as it relates to this week. But yeah, happy to be back here this week. I'm in the middle of the finals, so I could only do one episode this week. And we're full speed ahead to the Truist, and the PGA is right around the corner.
Yeah, happy to be back. Good to see you, Bob. Congratulations to the Arsenal on getting back to the European final. First time since '06, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's been 20 years, which is kind of crazy for a club as big as Arsenal, but congrats on that. Yeah, a year removed from our trip to the Truist. It was a poor trip, as you mentioned. Most of our trips are poor. I've never seen Spieth win in person, so I guess the trip can be good, but it'd be very cool to just for once see our guy win. It's not like he wins much as it is, but yeah, Truist week. Don't know what to think. I think my initial thoughts are slightly lower ceiling with a certainly lower floor for Mr. Spieth would kind of be how I'd put it. I think we're all kind of in agreement for Cadillac that we didn't really think he could win. Certainly don't think he can win this week. But yeah, it wouldn't shock me if he played well. I think it's a Quail. It gets a lot of crap. I think it's a pretty decent test of golf, though, still, even if the holes can be kind of bleh. And I feel better than I did last night when Dan and I were recapping the Cadillac. I know on yesterday, recording this Tuesday night, Jordan hit like 110 balls on Monday. Today, down to 56. I think he went out before his practice 9 holes and didn't feel the need to go back. So that makes me feel, half what decent. And yeah, you kind of said it. The Cadillac was bittersweet. It's not like it was all bad. I think in our recap that Dan and I did was mostly negative, but there were some good things. It's just it got away from us on the weekend, and that's where you kind of mentioned the alarming stuff came in.
Yeah, it was very alarming. It was quite a bad double on the fourth hole. One of the things I really look back to, um, a lack of real ability to re-enter the golf tournament after a semi-nice bounce back. I think he birdied one of the holes after I think he got back to even in that Saturday round, if I'm not mistaken. But the coverage was a little spotty, so it's not too fresh in my mind. He was featured Sunday, obviously, but that was due to his earlier tee time. So he keeps telling us he's close, and he's quite far away from putting 4 days together. We've really not seen even 3 days put together yet since probably last year's Waste Management, and that is a long time. I was under the age of 21 when that happened. I'm now almost into my senior year of college, and he has not put 3 rounds together in a year and a half. That is extremely alarming. And I think it goes back to what we talked about a few weeks ago. I really do think it's one of two things. It's either one, he doesn't prepare correctly, and eventually the things start to fall off, or every week is a Band-Aid that can't stay on in the pool for more than a few minutes. And if it is the Band-Aid issue, that's I think that's I don't know whether that's more troublesome or less troublesome because I also don't know if his changing his practice, if that's the issue, is going to be changed. I think it's it's really his inability to rebound for a long period of time after a mistake. Later in the week, we saw him shoot that 65, but and he did rebound from what could have been a spiraling out bogey multiple times in that round. I think that his finish on 17, 18 really was what did it for me. I was very impressed by that because 16 was a really bad bogey. And even though, yeah, he made birdie in that long par three after the first bogey, to 18 is simply a hole that Spieth bogeys a lot of the time. And he played an even par this week, I think, but or no, he made double on the last. So two over par for
Yes.
the week with a birdie. But overall, I was really proud of that, and it's really troublesome that putting 18 holes together in itself is a very difficult thing for him. But it's one thing if he was just the bad Sunday player or bad weekend player, even. I think we'd take that. This is the first time in a long time he's even put two rounds together, let alone this is the first time he's gotten himself into it on the weekend, let alone just on Sunday. And yeah, I guess you could make a case that Cam Young was too good to beat this week, so maybe it doesn't matter, but I think I'd completely counter argument that and say that it matters a lot. And you're not going to win the first time you're in contention, but this was a week for him to really make a statement. And maybe, I don't know, the hope is that the mindset just changed on the weekend a little bit because he was five shots back and inevitably probably knew he had to go 7 10 under on the weekend to win the golf tournament, but I have my doubts that that was the reason. So I don't know. It's kind of just a bunch of spiraled thoughts that are kind of spinning. It's a lot of worry, and if this is what he's saying is close, I think we're in pretty big trouble.
Yeah, you mentioned the Band-Aid situation. I think Dan's mentioned it too. It's not a good week to, try and Band-Aid it together and then have to play 18 holes and get it in the clubhouse, knowing the Green Mile. I think in our group chat, I set the over under at plus 4.5 for the week for Spieth on 16 through 18. He did finish around though on Friday if we go back to the Cadillac, which was nice. Still was an average round all around. He didn't play very good. He just, made the score a little bit better by birdieing 18. But yeah, I don't know. There's definitely you're going to be troubled when you lose 6 shots on approach over the weekend. I mean, that's not good. You lose two, okay, that's fine, but you lose six. I mean, that's I would assume easily worst in the field of the 72 players that teed it up at Doral. But yeah, I guess transitioning to the Truist, we hate Quail. I don't. What are your thoughts for this week, Bob? How you thinking regarding Jordan? I kind of laid out my expectations and thoughts. Where's your mind kind of on him for this week?
Uh, it's too hard of a golf course for him, I think. Uh, the golf course doesn't really do it for me. The Green Mile's a good stretch, but I don't know. Just every time I don't look forward to Quail Hollow. I don't think it should be a major championship golf course. It produces poor champions. Um, so besides Scheffler, obviously, but I think that some of the other champions that have come out of the Wells Fargo, um, we have the Clarks, the Homas, the Rorys, and then the Thomas, obviously at the PGA. So not great champions get crowned here, but it just doesn't do it for me. It just the golf course. It's just kind of a bore. It provides a good tournament on Sunday with the Green Mile, but it usually doesn't play hard enough during the PGA Tour event, anyways. I don't think if they wanted to make this golf course uh, really, really hard. I think it would be a much more fun tournament, but I don't really think they go do anything extra to make it a difficult tournament. It just doesn't do it for me, and it's not a good golf course for Jordan Spieth. He plays the greens. He read well at the President's Cup, which was nice. He putted extremely well there. I think Mills, we have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with because he's having some great rounds. He's also having some rounds that are bad, and he's brutally missing putts that have to go in on the weekend. Or I guess I shouldn't say putts. There's only been one weekend, but yeah, the putts when they need to go in don't really go in. So I don't know. I have no clue what's going to happen this week. I would agree with you. I think the floor I think the ceiling and floor are both a little bit lower. Um, yeah, I don't really see him not having a round in the mid 70s this week. If he can put a few nice rounds together, that's probably how he gets his top 20. But I mean, if last week was a top 20, who knows what this week's going to be.
Yeah, I do think I will say he did get a small course fit boost in my model. Um, which uh I think we did talk about maybe before the Cadillac how some tougher golf courses can fit him a little bit more. But you're right. It's very hard to envision him being close to the picture come the weekend. It could be another bland T18, T15, but it it's sad to say those 16 through 18, that stretch just requires a stack that he doesn't have at the moment. Um, Again, it's like he just, and I think he's been a bit better this year as a whole in playing the hard holes the way they're supposed to be played.
Very
But
low bar compared to last year.
yeah, it's a low bar. But it's just you don't see him making three pars on that hole. Like he'll hit a tee shot into the bunker on six. I mean, the tee shots on 18 this week could be very interesting in the places they wind up. Um, and the vibes just aren't good here. I think that's a big part of it. If you could put up like the magic puzzle, if the vibes are good. Um, like I think 11 at Augusta is a perfect example. He's made countless pars on that hole, just through, good vibes and some good shots. There's not good vibes here, number one, and there are plenty of bad iron shots, number two, that were in the bag last week. So it's kind of just a bland week. It's a rough week for Spieth fans because I don't think there's a whole lot of tournaments where I think we have less of a chance of winning typically than here. Which is sad to say. You can usually make a path in a lot of golf courses. It's very, very hard to envision a path here.
Yeah, it's well said. He's just on really difficult shots, especially with long irons. He hits good ones, but there are some really wild swings thrown in there when trouble is around, and you're gonna have to hit not only good drives on 16, 18, but you're gonna have to hit long irons, all three of those approach shots as well, with trouble for the most part in both directions to some pins because they tuck those pins on the opposite side of the water, and there's really no bailout. So uh, high sack swings need to be made, and what makes this golf course playable for so many people is they have a go-to shot to find the middle of the green, and Spieth does not have that. And that's a big problem because if you get aggressive on certain holes with aggressive swings, you can get away with them when you miss. But a lot of these players stand over an 180-yard shot on 16 and know that their worst case, unless a horrid swing is made, is going to be 50, 55 feet to the wrong side of the pin. And I think that that's playing to holes like that. You play those holes in even par, and you're probably gaining at least, I don't even know how many shots to the field for the week. And I don't know if that's ever even been done. Has anyone ever played the Green Mile for the week on even par?
The Green Mile for the week and even par. Yeah, I assume it's been done.
And that's 12 holes that play over par every day. So it's going to be, you're going to gain a lot of shots if you make pars on those holes. And yeah,
Yeah.
Spieth may make a birdie on one of them, but you look at that the last time, like there's kind of the stretches he plays that are like these. Like you look at a PJ National when he played last year, and yeah, he played him the first day in 3 under, but he played him over par for the week. So it's like I have no if like I'd take Spieth to make more birdies on those holes in the field. I'd take that bet before I take him playing at even par.
Tough to disagree with that. Um, yeah, no, I where do you think he slots in the model this week? But
I don't know. 25?
it's a good guess. 23rd.
Yeah.
I put it in our group chat, like he's consistently in these signature events, he's consistently in the bottom third of the top third, like every
Yeah.
week at this point. I mean, he at Miami was 21, at the Heritage he was 23rd. He's 23rd this week. It's just like these T18s and the T, they just don't do anything. They're
No.
just he's consistently fine, and it's boring, and it's May. I mean, we have the rest of this month. I think still about 11 events left, hopefully. So there's time, but it's just like it doesn't really feel like a kickstart would happen this week. Um, yeah, it's probably 10 or 11 events left. If he only plays one of the Byron or Schwab, I think it's 10. Of course, that is if he gets to East Lake. So if he doesn't get to East Lake, we could be looking at single digit events to go this year, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's flying by, and I'm trying to make the Travelers work, but obviously we have our sights set on Birkdale, so it would probably only be 1 or 2 events for me to go to, which would mean it could even be a fourth of the events left because I haven't been to one yet this year and won't be able to go to the Memorial this year. So I don't know. I think uh, I'd love to see him start incorporating some new shots. Again, I've said this for a while, and which is why I'm really excited for the British sweat, the British stretch, because it feels like in the States he really never incorporates more than just stock shots. And that hurts you on holes like 16, 17, 18 here. You know, Scheffler, you can make aggressive swings to safe spots with a safe shot selection. And that's what Scheffler does all the time. And Spieth every time is hitting a full stock shot, usually at the pin. And that's a lot of the time not the right play. And for someone who's just so good, even now from mid range, I mean, he still pours them in. To not have figured out by now that the Scheffler method would work very well for him. Uh, he doesn't have to be as good as Scheffler to use that method and play better doing it. And this is a course that'll really expose that this week, I believe. And you know, it did expose it a little bit at Dural as well. Um, and you know, you can get away with that at certain golf courses, but you can't get away with that here. And I truly believe it's gonna catch up to him, and it's why he's always 7, 8 shots back of the lead on Sunday, because it's just a few too many bad swings in spots you can't miss, and that costs you a shot or two, 3, 4, 5 times a week, and there's the difference because he's always top five in birdies every week.
We would know.
Yeah, so yes, shout out to J. Spieth Family Foundation.
Yes, which we love giving to. But yeah, it does. I mean, love giving, but yeah, I think it gets frustrating for their team and our team when we make tons of birdies and it doesn't result wins and or just a win. It's been what 4 years now, which is nuts. But yeah, I it's crazy. I was telling Dan last night the PGA is next week. Like it doesn't. really feel like it's on the cusp, but it is, and we're going to be going for that slam again next week. And um, I guess I don't even know what the goal to try to accomplish is this week to get ready for next week. Who knows? I do think I've said it before. I hope I'm correct in saying this. I think he's probably a little bit more bullish on himself this week than we are. But it's still just bullish around these parts is definitely different than bullish around a lot of golf courses. And you were right. I mean, he's not putted very well here historically, um, which doesn't help. um, his best putt. He's played here 5 times outside of the President's Cup, and his best appearance putting was in 2013. So it's been a long time. He has driven it very well here historically, which is good. And we got some word today. He's trying a new driver, a longer driver, which is fascinating coming off his best week off the tee all season. I don't hate it. It doesn't, it definitely seems like there's some urgency. I mean, he put the new driver in last week, new three-wood, new golf ball, and now he's with a different driver this week. Um, Hey, we've called for change, some sort of change, many a times on this channel when things have gotten rough, and he's certainly fidgeting with the equipment to see if he can find something.
which is nice. We've been asking for anything.
Yeah.
Um, I do think that I've seen a lot of people um, in the comments uh, talking about the caddy, and I think I sense that we're coming to an end.
Ooh.
I do.
Wow.
I I I
Wow.
I do. Maybe not in the near future, but I'd be shocked if Spieth starts the 2028 season with Greller on the bag. I think he might give it one more go next year, and I don't know who's going to be the one leaving. It may be mutual, but they just don't seem to click anymore. There's a lot of I'm sure that as much as I think Cam is probably a fan of Greller for sure. I think he's probably a little bit ticked off at, there are some times when Greller just can't give Jordan what he needs anymore. Like Jordan needs someone to step in there and be the alpha. And it almost seems like they're kind of just, he's kind of a yes man, which is what Jordan needed earlier in his career. And there are plenty of players that need that. And he will do just great for. But I have a feeling that that's just. I have a feeling the friendship's still there, but I do think the caddy player dynamic has looked a little off to me in the recent times.
I think it's a fair take. And I mean, the more you hear Jordan say, like, I feel like I'm playing better and he's not getting anything, like, I feel like he's obviously said that in the past, but he's fresh off an injury, first full season with a working wrist that, he had actually time the past off season to work on things. I don't think it's far-fetched either. Um, we'll see where it goes, but yeah, I think it's very fair, Bob, to see how the season plays out, and if it is just bland the rest of the way, I think maybe the noise will get bigger in that department. I think that's certainly a fair take.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think that it's not a coincidence that there's two players that changed caddies over the offseason that are doing very, very, very well this year. Sometimes a change is needed, and for players of Spieth's caliber in the past, caddy changes have almost immediately resulted um, in a result. Because sometimes when you're that good, the margins are so small that sometimes the confidence of doing something different and having it work is everything you need to succeed. And we saw JT do that with Bones when he changed, and now Fitz and Cam Young are obviously doing that. Cam Young changed his caddy the first time to I forget his name, but Simpson's caddy. Um, and he was immediately a much better player. He didn't win, And he just couldn't get over the hump, so he changed another caddy, and now look at the next step he's taken from there. I just don't think it can hurt. I really don't think it can hurt. It's not a Greller thing. Greller will have a new job within a week. He's got the resume of someone who possibly could have someone get move on from their caddy to pick him up. But I do think that for Team Spieth, the spark isn't really there anymore. It's almost like a marriage that kind of just dies out a little bit, and the spark is kind of flares.
Yeah, no, it's tough to. You're not winning, you're losing, and they've been the two of them losing a lot as of late. Um, and yeah, it'll be interesting. I think again, like if nothing is gotten out of this season, maybe it's debated. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I think it's a fair point, though. I think it's certainly a fair take. It'll be interesting to see how it kind of plays out. I think would be, I'd put it. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. We're kind of running a little bit low here on content material. No triple double tonight, just because Dan's not with us. Um, well, we can. You're going first, so if you want to go first, um, it's up to you. Or if you want to wait till tomorrow, that's also fine. But I guess since you're going first, if you wanted to make a pick, or if you want to wait, that's fine. But
No, it's really annoying because I would have loved to take my first Scheffler use, but I don't think he's playing this week, is he?
no,
But
you
I
haven't
do
used a
think
Scheffler yet.
uh,
I honestly don't know. I don't think you have.
no, no.
That's
But
crazy.
I have I get first of the Memorial, so that. That'll be one. And then I don't know, probably somewhere it was somewhere else. I'll take Rory this week. I haven't
Okay.
used a Rory, and he really only plays like 6 weeks a year because he thinks he's bigger than the tour. But so I don't know how many more times I'll get the chance to use him. But yeah, I'll take Rory this week. I think that's not too um crazy to say. And then Jordan, I guess you can take your first pick if he's already been used twice by Dan. I don't know who you're looking to take, but
Well, Dan's second, so we got to wait.
yeah, but if your person has been taken by him twice already, I guess you could.
If
But
my
it doesn't
person's
look
been,
like he's got any players that you'd take. I don't think.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't know. Rory's chalk. I would have used Rory if I was going first this week. Yeah, he should win this week. And yeah, I mean, I'd be fine if Spieth played this little too if he won the weeks he played. I mean, I don't know if you meant like a negative connotation with that, but like, man, if you can go out and play the big tournaments and get the results you want, then so be it. I mean, we don't have that luxury. We have a player who doesn't win very often, have to play a lot, try and give ourselves a lot of chances. Which stinks. I think I mentioned it after the Masters. Maybe Jordan would look to not do that, but I just don't think he can afford to. I mean, Rory's basically completed golf. Um, what I think he said he wants to win at a classic, like he's picking like a classic US Open venue. Um, so certainly winning the PGA to Ronimink wouldn't fit in his golf courses that he wants to win at next week. But like, yeah, we don't have that luxury. More power to the guy.
Yeah,
But yeah, Rory should
we
win going away this week.
we certainly do not have that luxury. I do think it's fun. We've picked 5 of the last 7 winners.
That's crazy. I was telling Dan last night that we've probably hit outrights in like a third of the events this
Yeah,
year. It might be more than that.
yeah, it might be time to start putting some of our own hard-earned cash on some. I mean, I basically do on most of them.
Yeah.
I think there was one week I hit one where he was just off our card, but I
Cam
have
Young's
made
made you,
I've made basically 10 million on Cam Young.
yeah, Cam Young's made you 8.1 of your 17.6.
What are you, 36 and 45? 9 point, or yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. No, Cam Young, send something to the Cam Young Foundation after the year if you end up winning.
Cam Young
Um,
has made a lot of money in his own right this
oh
year.
yes, oh yes, no, I am. Yeah, oh yeah. He will. He does not need your funds. It's crazy though. I was telling Dan, I think when we were recapping, triple double is phenomenal. I mean,
It
we
really is a
really
brilliant
lock.
format.
Yeah, because it's like someone hits an outright and you're like frustrated for 10. There's so many opportunities to make it back. I mean, even
Yeah.
right now, I mean, like we still
I
got,
mean,
I think,
I mean, I know I'm leading right now, but I led by a gazillion a few weeks ago, and then you caught up, and then Dan was behind by a
yeah,
gazillion, and then he caught up. It really is a great format, and I'm glad we changed this year. I don't think we'll be changing it again because I think we've really found
yeah.
the perfect formula for this. Um,
No, I love it. I think it's, and I mean, still, it's like we got this week, Travelers, Memorial, like that's three signature events, three majors, and the playoffs.
yeah,
I mean, we're just like halfway through.
I'm honestly surprised, like with one and done being out there, that someone hasn't came up with this before as a fantasy sports game.
Yeah, no, I think
Um,
it's fun.
yeah, it very much is. So. Yeah, that might be all I have. It's a lot of the same from Spieth besides that 65. I mean, Sunday was just yeah, it was bittersweet. There was a lot of good on Sunday, but who cares?
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. I hope that it continues to get better, but right now I think we are. I think the golf is trending, and but we are just as far away from a win, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's all I got. I guess the only other question I have for you, since you weren't here to recap with us last night, was what were your thoughts on Dural?
I thought it was quite fun, actually. I would have liked to see it play a little, um, maybe the greens were pretty firm, which was nice. I'm trying to think of how it could have played harder. Um, I really do think the technology is sort of like in the last 10 years since they've had it has really just gotten that much better, and the athletes have gotten that much better. But I also think if Cam Young doesn't make it look like a joke, the winning score is probably 12 under. I didn't think the rest of the field played that well this week, but
They didn't.
yeah, I think that if I still think it's right in that sweet spot of a winning score, and I think it's a course actually that Spieth could play well at in the future. I really did like how he made his way around there, and I mean, what he finished? He is 7 under.
Uh, yes.
Yeah. So in a normal year, that's going to be five back of the lead, and he had a lot of spots where he could have done better. But again, he also shot 7 under the first round, and you can't bank on that every year either. But yeah, I thought the golf course was fantastic. Great piece of property. Looks like an awesome golf course to play for an amateur. You'll probably get your ass kicked, but I think it looks like a very fun golf course to play, and I'm glad that they have it. It's just much different than what we get
Yeah.
every other week. It almost felt like it was a PGA Championship kind of golf course. So I think I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with it. I'm glad they brought it back.
Gotcha. Yeah, I gave this tidbit to Dan last night when we were recapping. You mentioned you didn't think anyone else played very well. Data Golf's weighted strokes gained said that Spieth's T29 at Pebble and T32 at the Players were stronger performances than the T18 at the Cadillac.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he was only at like, he gained like a shot per round. Like he literally, he gained like 6.6 on the first day and gave back like three or so the next three. He had nothing the last
Wow.
54 holes. Yeah. So fair. Yeah. Cam Young played great, but yeah, for some whatever reason, I don't know if it's the new course or whatever it was. No one else really played very well. Um, but yeah, so we're on to the Truist. I think is that all you got, Bob? I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, I think so. Just hoping that don't even know what we're hoping for, but I do think that there's no performance this week that I can see giving me much hope for the PGA. which is really unfortunate after that 65, because if he wins that last week in the without Young market, I think we're feeling really good about the PGA right now, and he just kind of pooped down the leg a little bit. So
Yeah.
pretty disappointing, but yeah, I think I think I basically have crossed off the PGA, but you know, there's always some hope that creeps in, that Tuesday night, because I mean, anything can happen in golf, man, but it's just Spieth does not play the style necessary. Spieth doesn't play a style that just spike peaks like that.
No.
So unfortunate, but hey, we still have an Open Championship later this year that is um, that he could absolutely find. I could totally see him just kind of playing average the rest of the summer and then getting to Scotland and contending. And then all of a sudden, I think the Open's right brutally a chance. So he plays different over there. It fits his game. I mean, we watched him play just a disastrous Open, and he still finished T40 last year. There are just
That's a
so
big
many
bet.
players. There's just so many players um, that can't win an Open, and he's one of the players that can. So notice how I didn't even mention Shinnecock. That could be really funny. But yeah, I would have loved to see. It's very disappointing that after the 65, we didn't feel better about the PGA after the last week.
Yeah. No, I thought it would be a pipe dream regardless, probably, but yeah. I mean, it's who knows? We still play that. We still hit the shots. We still play the game. You never know. But
Never
the
know.
PGA is very hard to win too. It's not like the Masters where you can, you know,
Some private planes could go down.
yeah, you can get there a couple weeks early, get some prep, and PGA is hard. You got to beat 150 some dudes, which we've talked about in this podcast. It's a signature event. You got half the amount of dudes you got to beat. Um,
What is the line on Spieth versus Mike Block?
I did you see my message in chat from earlier today?
No,
I asked Blake if will Spieth beat everyone on the Core Bridge financial team of 20, and he said yes. So he's like, what a dumb question. I'm like, he hasn't always done it. Mike Block got the upper hand on him at Oak Hill, and you never know. So I mean, I think if Spieth shoots a million this week, it's firmly in play to lose to a pro,
yeah, I
club
agree.
pro.
Because
Never
those
know.
guys also aren't PGA pros. Like
No,
they're not working in pro shops. They're
no,
playing every day, but
no, they're grinders.
yeah, they're grinders. So yeah, that's all we got, I think. Unless you got
Yeah.
anything else, and we'll be back. Um, Probably not Sunday night,
No.
but
Maybe
but
Sunday night with a
maybe
recap after. Well, there's no cut, so.
yeah.
But no, that's all we got. Yeah, that's all I got too. Surprise us, Spieth. Come on, for once. We're not very bullish this week. Do something. Do
Yes,
something for
do something,
once. For once.
please.
But take care, everyone.